I remember the day I first heard the broadcast from WSHR like it was yesterday. The static, soft and broken, cut through the silence as I traversed the remnants of a once charming New England village. My breath formed in little clouds before me, and the overcast sky seemed heavy with something more than rain, like the sorrow of an entire world pressed into grayness. The wind carried the burnt scent of abandoned fires and the tang of rusting metal. If I half closed my eyes, I could almost pretend this was some forgotten fishing town in winter. But the emptiness and charred skeletons of cars told a different story. There was an attack, the voice on the shortwave crackled. Shelters, compromised, radioactive fallout. Its final words trailed off in squeals of static and then silence. Still, I carried that message with me like a talisman, offering clarity and, in its own twisted way, a sense of hope. If there were other survivors, maybe we could find each other before the cold sealed us in. WSHR's rumors said that most public shelters had been built or converted in the very regions that suffered the worst from the weather patterns. The radioactive wind blew in from the coastline, drifting across the earth. The shelters turned into tombs, ironically, for all those people who had once believed they were the lucky ones. I've been alone out here, at least in my right mind, for months. Occasionally I'll see someone wandering, half-dressed or wearing scraps of tattered clothing. They might look at me through glazed eyes before scurrying away. The radiation does things to the mind. Maybe they've just been terrified into madness. More often, I see the dead ones, although they come around less and less. Sometimes they seem to move with purpose, like they know me, or used to. But they never get too close. Lately, it's almost like they're part of another reality altogether. It's been harder to discern what's real. The world seems drained of color. At first, I blamed it on the gloom that settled after the nuclear fallout. No sunlight, no bright blues or greens, just an eternal dusk. But I know it's something more than that. Something in my head or my bloodstream. Every once in a while, I catch glimpses of color, like how a child's red jacket used to pop in the crowd at a busy station. Yet these glimmers vanish as quickly as they appear, leaving me certain they're only hallucinations. Am I dead? Is this world a mirage? Sometimes I wonder if I've been locked in a simulation, or if I'm the last living mind and everything else is an echo. These questions swirl around, feeding on my loneliness. New England towns have always had their share of forgotten history. Now, sifting through battered barns and boarded-up homes, I've found so many odds and ends. Old analog radios, ancient tools, vacuum tubes, books, lots and lots of books, loaded with information on everything from gardening to manufacturing. It's like an entire library's worth of knowledge is just out there waiting to be claimed. Nobody's left to profit or regulate me out of using what belongs to us all. The gears in my mind started turning. Old textbooks on mechanical engineering, vintage magazines explaining how to build a wind turbine. I pieced everything together in a small workshop above what used to be an old post office. And that's where I built my first real success, a gear-driven hand crank connected to an old car generator. The secret was to hook it up to a paddle wheel in the river, harnessing the current to rotate the crank. That generator now charges the handful of car batteries I've salvaged, allowing me to power some LED lights. With them, I can grow vegetables indoors, sheltered from the radioactive dust that still floats on the wind. Whenever I roam, I keep my shortwave radio close. The raspy static is a lullaby in this silent world. I move from town to town, gathering supplies. Canned goods fill the pantries of deserted groceries and basement shelters. They're out there by the thousands, and I am one man alone. So, stockpiling is both easy and maddening. All the while, I watch the sky, an unwavering sheet of dull gray, for any sign that the weather might break. For good or bad, the cold is on its way. You can feel it in the thinning air, and when the snow and fog come, I'll need warmth. I'll need light. I'll need the little green sprouts that flicker under my LED lamps, promising a new harvest in a dead world. I've even found livestock, chickens mostly, that have been running around the once scenic farmland. They seem oblivious to the radiation, pecking at the ground as they always have. Their eggs provide a rare joy to my makeshift meals of canned beans and stale crackers. If I can set up a small coop, maybe I can raise them, keep them safe when winter locks everything in ice. Sometimes, as I walk down these empty streets, the ghosts of old life float past me. I see families laughing on porches, children riding bicycles, neighbors chatting over white picket fences like film reels from the past. And in those moments, the color rushes in, so bright it blinds me. The illusions swirl, merging with the reality of boarded windows and broken streetlights. Am I crazy? Or maybe those illusions are my last shreds of sanity. The last time I felt warmth was days ago, leaving me alone on a silent, rubble-strewn street. The ache in my bones told me I'd lost another night of sleep to the nightmares. But the ache also brought me clarity. I'm still here, still breathing. If this is a hallucination, it's well-crafted torture. I keep building and planning. I found an old furnace design in a 1950s mechanical manual, simple enough to replicate with the scrap metal lying around. I can feed it with coal from the old train depot, if I manage to break down enough lumps. And once the snows come, keep me from freezing. Every piece of knowledge left behind, every battered manual or dusty volume, makes me feel a bit more alive. Humanity's downfall might have come from nuclear folly, but we weren't left without the tools to repair or rebuild. We just forgot how to use them. As the days grow shorter, an unsettling hush blankets the land. The roads are empty, except for my footprints in the dust, and the horizon is a perpetual gunmetal gray. The twinge in the air suggests winter is near. Snow will cover everything in silent, suffocating white. I'll take it as a sign to hole up, finalize my shelters, insulate the greenhouse area, and get those LEDs humming day and night. There's a flicker of hope in the solitude. I'm not beholden to corporations or forced to feed the pockets of crooked governments. The earth, abused and wounded, is still generous. Water flows, livestock roam, seeds sprout. There's freedom in that, in living by my own means, though it's a lonely freedom. I suspect more illusions will haunt me as the cold sets in, or maybe I'll run into another person, another real survivor who can actually speak coherent words, but I'm not counting on it. The radio station has gone silent for days now, leaving me only with my thoughts and the next job. Finishing the generator setup, rigging more hand crank systems for electricity, expanding my grow operation. Survival has a certain mechanical poetry to it, pieces in motion, all interconnected, giving me purpose even when my mind threatens to crumble. If this is death, or if it's a simulation, perhaps it doesn't matter. The colorless swirl of existence around me is reality enough. I have to keep going. I cling to the notion that these mechanical wonders, these overlooked relics, can be the foundation of a new age, if I live long enough to see spring. The day ends in eerie twilight as I scribble these thoughts onto a salvaged notepad. Even my pen feels foreign in my hand. It's been so long since I've written anything that wasn't pure inventory. Tomorrow I'll collect more scrap and refine my water wheel. Then I'll check on the seedlings. Winter is coming. The snow and fog will soon cloak everything, and I need to prepare. Whether I'm the only one or not, I must carry on. Perhaps one day this empty world will repopulate, or maybe it's already filled with ghosts I've yet to meet. But the answers are out there, hidden in books and machines from the old days, waiting to be discovered, harnessed, and built upon. There is solace in knowing that if we're not all gone, we can rebuild something better, free from the poisons of greed. For now, I press my hand against the cold, chipped wood of the door leading to the next deserted town and step forward into the unknown. Hope or damnation, only time will tell. But I'll be ready.